Okay, so today we're going to talk about inequalities. Mr. Sherbert has gone over on the previous lessons about what are inequalities, what does it mean. Remember, as a review, these are the signs that we use for inequalities. We use the less than sign, we use the greater than sign, we use the less than and equal to sign, we use the greater than and equal to sign. Okay, so these four signs let you know we're talking about an inequality. Please remember that unlike an equation, an inequality has multiple solutions. Okay. So when we look at this inequality, this is saying x is less than -2. So a value for x that could make this statement true is -3, -4, -5, -6. All of those are multiple solutions to this inequality. Please note that -2 is not a solution because there's no line underneath. It's very important that you understand what the line underneath means. It means that -2 could be a solution, but in this problem, -2 is not a solution. Okay, so when we look at this problem, we can tell that -1 is part of our solution. Okay, and that it's all the numbers greater than -1. Okay, so I chose any variable. You can choose J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. What that's saying is all of my solutions or all of my answers can be greater than -1. So now, how do we solve inequalities? What happens when we have an inequality like this? We say x plus 8 is less than 12. Well, we can't put this on the number line yet because the variable still has a plus 8 on this side. So what are we going to do? We're going to solve this just like we do one-step equations. So we're going to say, I need to get rid of that 8. And so that x can be by itself. So I'm going to subtract 8 to both sides. Okay? The 8's go away here, and 12 minus 8 becomes 4. So the solution to this inequality or this statement is all the numbers less than 4. So that could be 3, 2, 1, -1, 0, on and on and on and on and on. Okay? So when we graph that, we're going to draw us a number line. We're going to put 4. We're going to put some numbers less than 4 and some numbers higher than 4. We're going to put a circle above 4. Okay, we're not shading it in because 4 is not a solution. And then we're going to look at all the numbers less than 4. Okay. So when the biggest thing about inequalities is when to know when to flipping the sign, not the inequality, but the actual less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to sign. So let's take a look. You must flip the sign if you divide or multiply by negative. Okay, so here we would make this less than sign a greater than sign because that's a -3 in our final answer. Okay, here we're not going to change this less than sign because that is a +2. In our final answer here, we would change that to a greater than sign because that is a -10 in our final answer. So let's practice. Here we have a 2, okay? It's a positive, so there's no need to flip that sign. The answer will still stay with less than. Here we will flip because that's a -5. Here we will flip because that's a -3, okay? It is very important that you understand we only flip when we're talking about multiplication and division. We do not flip when we're talking about adding and subtracting. So let's practice. This is a one-step inequality. Notice it has the less than sign. So here we would say this means multiplication. So the opposite is divide by 5. And here's our answer, J, which is my variable. I am going to flip that inequality, and so it becomes a greater than sign, -6, because 30 divided by -5 is -6. So this would be your answer. All the numbers greater than -6 could be a solution to this inequality. So all the numbers greater than -6 would be -5, -4, -3, 2, 1, 0. All of those numbers would be an answer to this problem. Okay? So the next one says some number plus 12 is less than 30. Okay? So here we're going to solve this just like a one-step equation. And we get J is less than 18. Remember, we don't care about that flipping the inequality here because we're adding and subtracting. So this says that all the numbers less than 18 will make this whole statement true. So my answer could be 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. All of those would be correct answers. This says J minus 3 is less than -15. So the opposite of this minus 3 is a plus 3. And I get J, or the numbers have to be less than or equal to -12. Okay. The final one. This says J divided by 2 has to be less than -15. Here, I'm going to say the opposite of divide by 2 as multiply by 2. And there's no flipping that inequality. We're going to keep it a less than because that multiplying by 2 was a positive. So keep in mind that when you solve one-step inequalities, you want to make sure that you're giving one final answer so that you can put it on a number line. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can hit us all up on Google Classroom. Thank you for listening.